You know, there are only three things that most people will spend down to their very last dollar to protect: their health, their liberty, and their reputation. Why reputation? Because without a reputation, you can't get a job, you don't have any friends, and your family won't even trust you anymore. So today I'm going to share with you 5 steps on how you can protect yourself and survive false accusations. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 tips that will protect you if you are ever falsely accused. And I know well what I'm talking about because it's happened to me. There are things that you can do in the first 24 hours of an allegation that can make all the difference for you. And we're going to go over each one of those steps that, if you follow, will give you the best chance of surviving the potentially worst experience of your life. Step number 1, you need to know your rights. I mean, as American citizens here, we are protected by a Constitution which tells us that we don't have to say anything we don't want to say. So number 1, you got to know you have the right to remain silent. Don't say a thing until you've had a chance to talk to your lawyer, which is your second right. Make sure you consult with your lawyer, because if you talk to a lawyer, he or she is going to know better than you could ever possibly know what the right thing to say is or not to say. Let me give you an example. So during my investigation, when a SWAT team came by my house, an agent wanted to speak with my wife about her side of the story. My wife was well enough informed of her right to remain silent that she politely declined and said that she'd rather talk with her lawyer first. That is a right you have. And one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're facing a false allegation is that they want to immediately engage in a conversation and think, if I can just convince this interviewer that I'm a good person, everything will be fine. And they could not be further away from the truth. Make sure you talk to a lawyer before you engage with anybody who may be investigating you or someone you love, and you'll have the best chance of getting through that false accusation. Step number 2, keep it clean. Have a clear understanding of all of the rules. Be smart about following them. Get a memo from the corporate office or general counsel for any activity that is an exception to the norm, such as moonlighting on a board, or traveling, or staying an extra day, or making a donation to related charity. Keep it clean, stay away from the line, document, get advice, and follow it. I like to say there are 5 things you should never do. If it's not something you want your mother to see, don't send it, don't write it, don't touch it, don't do it, and don't talk about it. Keep it clean, and you're much more likely not to give ammunition to an investigation and lose the battle on preserving your reputation. So it's many times impossible to know what your neighbor next door is doing that you're not aware of. And so it's very difficult to know for sure that who you're hanging out with may have a problem. But in any event, be smart. Have your antenna up and be very careful about who you associate. Number 4, don't rely on others to do the work. No one will care about your life more than you, and you should never forget it. Let me give you an example. I had very good lawyers helping me, but they had so much to do, they were so busy, that there was no way they could do all of the investigative work that needed to be done. And so I decided to take that responsibility and do some digging on my own. I stayed up late at night. I listened to jail-recorded calls that were made by my biggest witness against me, who happened to be a convicted felon. Sometimes prosecutors will do anything they can do to get a conviction. And I discovered calls that completely contradicted the expected sworn statement from this witness at trial. When we played those recordings before the jury lost all confidence in the credibility of this witness, and it really helped me exonerate myself. This happened because I was willing to do the work that my overloaded attorneys couldn't afford to do, and it ended up saving my reputation and helping me win an acquittal before a jury. So don't be afraid to do the work yourself, because no one values your life and your reputation more than you do yourself. 5, safeguard your materials. Make sure that they're reasonably protected from disclosure to people who shouldn't be seeing them. Many people under investigation are being monitored, which can be done secretly with a court order. When you correspond with counsel by email, do it only on a protected server like Proton Mail, which is encrypted on both ends. Do not destroy anything, because one of the preferred and easy charges to prove is obstruction of justice, and it's a felony. I want to share something that, and I wouldn't go to this extent, but I have a lawyer friend who defends people all the time. And he will never have a consultation with a criminal defendant client, someone he's defending, without putting his cell phone into a lead box that he's purchased and putting it inside of his drawer so it can't be used as a communication device by an investigative agency. Now, I don't think you need to go out and buy yourself a lead box, but I want to say that just to illustrate how important it is that you safeguard your communications and materials so they cannot be used against you. Let me be clear. I am not suggesting that if you take these 5 steps that you will be able to go out and rob a bank and get away with it. Remember, step number 2 is keep it clean. What I'm talking about is if you are falsely accused of doing something you didn't do, if you're innocent all along, these 5 steps will protect you from losing everything that matters. The very single most important asset you'll ever earn, and that is your legacy and reputation. These 5 steps will protect you. As we conclude, let me just remind you that every single situation is different, and what I've talked about today is not intended to substitute for your seeking and obtaining legal advice from your attorney who represents you. As you face the most traumatic experience you'll ever face in your life, and that is defending yourself from an allegation you did something you didn't do, you could never possibly do. You're not alone, and there are resources that are available to help you not only get through it, but understand how you can best attack it to survive it. And using these 5 steps will get you started. But if I can help you with this, please click the link below. Give us your information. One of my people will contact you and see what we can do to put you on the right path to make sure that you can survive this. Because at the end of the day, the single most important resource, asset, legacy that we have or will leave with our children is our reputation. And I want to help you save yours. So please click on the link below and let me know how I can help you save your reputation. Thanks for watching. I hope that something that I've shared with you is helpful to you as you face the scourge of false accusations and the devastating damage it can do to your reputation. I invite you to subscribe and ring the bell and receive any other videos that I'm creating for you. And I invite you to watch this next video.